Soundbox presents Lego Transformers. Whoa! Blot.
Hello, Lego Transformers fans. This is Soundbox with another exciting episode of Lego Transformers. Here we have the Terrorcon Decepticon from Generation 1, Blot. Or should I say, Blot. Blot is one of the strangest Terrorcons. The reason being is he looks weird. We don't quite know what he is. Some descriptions call him a blue dragon. Others call him a werewolf. And so when they made better versions of the figure, they actually made one figure look more like a werewolf and one look like a generic monster. Anyways, here's his original Generation 1 figure. Now, the purples, I didn't really go for the purples. I used more of the dark blue. I was getting this dark bluish look to him, but I liked adding grays in there too. I felt that did the trick. That made him look better. They are both about the same size. The Terrorcons were very small Transformers. They're combiners, so most of the Generation 1s were smaller, and then they would combine, and that was their main feature. But Blot does have a lot of articulation for a Generation 1 figure. And you can tell he's Generation 1 because I have a little rub sticker. I miss these things, rub stickers. They brought them back with Revenge of the Fallen, Return of the Shield. Or Reveal the Shield. It's starting to get there. There we go, Decepticons. And this figure also has some articulation in the legs and arms, so you can kind of stand him up better. He's also got a little bit of face transformation articulation. I'm going to try to stand him up a little bit better because he seems to want to tip over now. There we go. And here's my Lego Transformers Blot. Let's do some more size comparisons before we bring him into the transformation and talk about him. So we'll compare him to Cliff Jumper here. Little old Cliff Jumper who you attacked in the beginning of the video. So this is vehicular mode versus monster mode, I guess you could say. But like the Predacons, the Terrorcons like being in their monster mode, so we'll bring in a robot mode just to see the difference as well. Here's Bumblebee in robot mode next to Blot. He's not much bigger than him, but he is bulkier by a lot. And we'll bring in Optimus Prime. Oh, look at this. We got to actually zoom out for Optimus Prime because he's so tall. So here we have Optimus Prime, being super tall that he is. And we have Blot. Though, Blot is much thicker and chunkier. So he does have that muscle mass behind him, which makes him scary and ferocious. And did we do minifigure yet? I don't believe we did. So let's bring the minifigure. We'll zoom in just a little bit now. Okay, and here's our Lego minifigure. And so Blot is pretty towering and scary to him. If you saw a monster this big in real life, he'd probably be about 10 feet tall. Maybe 8. But so hulking and huge. Ah, the minifigure, save him! So that's Blot in his monster mode. Let's take a look at him from all sides. From dead on, you can't really see much of his face details, but from an angle, I put a one stud red piece in there to be eyes, and you can see that from either side. And he's got that amorphous looking creature face like the figure did. Then I used claws for his arms because I thought that looked scarier and more dangerous. And then these tubes that made the rest of the monster arm, because he kind of has gangly arms. I put these vents here. They kind of match well with the sticker detail. And these dark blue pieces that I got from a Shield, Marvel Shield set. And dark blue on the back. And we have his feet and little claws I added to his feet using these side stud pieces to put the claws in. And his back, there's not much to say for his back. We see some kibble and stuff. His head kind of conveniently makes a back spike or a little bit of a tail or something. Okay, so that's Blot in monster mode. Let's take him and transform. The transform Blot, the first thing you want to kind of do is rotate his legs downward. Now his legs are a dual rotation because you have this big back piece that you rotate down and you rotate his monster leg down. Once they're down, you can then kind of rotate his arms. Actually, they got to be up a little. You got to kind of pull his arm out just a little. See how that clip is on that bar? You got to kind of slide it forward just a hair. And just a hair more. And then slide it back in. Then rotate his animal claw backwards. And this neat little hinge joint here with the hand, rotate that up. And then his leg can go all the way down. Now you have a foot, a robot foot, and a robot hand. And I use the eyepieces for the hands. Now we'll do the same thing with the other side. We'll rotate his hand around. This time I rotate it from the top. It doesn't matter if you do from the top or the bottom. Kind of rotates easier from the top. And then you take and just slide the claw hand back. That allows it to fit into place. Then you can push it back and raise his hand up. This little hand hinge joint is not the best holding. It's a flat hand, but I wanted to try some different techniques with this guy. So we're testing it out, and it seems to hold pretty well. Better than a lot of the bar joint pieces I had. So now we got that one in place. Now let's do the same thing with his back. Start rotating his back down and his foot into place. Look at that. Monster foot, robot foot, they match up. And let's slide this arm back in. One of the reasons you want to slide the arms back in is because the way I built this, I used this one stud square piece with a hand on the side to hold the bar. Well, the one stud can get caught underneath his shoulder and keep his arms in place. So now his creature arms don't come forward. Instead, you have his robot arms. But he's still got a monster face. What's going on with that? Well, let's bring his robot head out. We'll rotate it upward and around. So first you rotate it around. And it's just basically a ball joint in the back here with a 2-stud plate, the lengthwise ones. And then you rotate his head up. And his head is a black piece with a side stud, but it's hooked from the side. And it's got a red visor and a blue triangle. And I just noticed that I was so involved with explaining my figure that we got to zoom out a little bit. Because when I transformed him, he got bigger. And so now we have Blot in robot mode. So we'll compare Legotransformers Blot in robot mode to his actual figure. Well, he's still in monster mode. Let's transform him into robot mode. I kind of did that just so you could kind of see the size of the monster. And you could see how the G1 Transformer transforms. Of course, on camera, G1 Transformer's head doesn't want to come out. There we go. Oh, and we got to rotate his hands up. Look at these greatly articulated arms. A tiny little dub that just pulls up. Isn't that funny? These old combiners. So now you see the actual Blot figure next to my Legotransformers version. And I dare to say my Legotransformers version is an improvement, but it does look pretty cool. The figure's arms neatly fold away in the back, where mine just kind of stick up. You can kind of angle it to make them go back a little further. But I am overall happy with the figure, the way he looks, the way the blues accentuate. I use 3 different colors of blue on him. I use these dark blues, this weird little pale blue, and regular blue. Plus we have some black highlights and a lot of gray. Dark gray and lighter gray. And that breaks it up and makes the color look pretty good, and it gives them detailing for such an amorphous looking creature. Now let's bring the little Lego man in, and he was scared of the creature. Now he's got a giant robot to contend with. That's even scarier. Oh! And we'll bring in Bumblebee. Our Generation 1 Bumblebee, who for some reason doesn't want to stand. There we go. Ah! It's like the ground here is like bumped up or something. It's making him not stand. Bumblebee, come on. There we go. Stand next to Blot for the camera. So Bumblebee is tiny compared to Blot in robot mode. But we kind of figured that since he was in monster mode as well. And then we'll bring in Optimus Prime. Once again, we got to zoom out for Optimus. He's so tall. Here we have Optimus Prime and Blot. It's Blot in robot mode. Now let's look at Blot's robot mode for articulation reasons. Zoom back in. So articulation, you got some arm movement here and here. And if you want to get more range, you can pull that little stud out and rotate his arm like this, all the way up, all the way down. So that gives him some movement there. You also have these rotating pins in here that allow his legs to move. So now you can put him in a running pose, or have him stand still. Or he could be kicking somebody. And his head has that ball joint motion, so you can kind of make him look left and right. And so, that was Legotransformers Generation 1 Terrorcon Blot. If you liked this episode, give it a like. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah. Sideswipe.